Today we gather to celebrate the life of a sweet and gracious lady that we all have been blessed to know and love. I choose the word celebrate because she led a long, happy, and full life. She was loved by many and touched the hearts of all who were blessed to know her. What greater legacy could you hope to leave behind you? So this truly should be a day of celebration. Edith Elizabeth Cruz Mullins was born November the 21st, 1911. She was the baby and 10th child of Lillian and William Cruz. William drove a wagon for Howard Park Brick Company, delivering bricks, and later worked on the construction of the Walnut Street Bridge. Edith's mother died when she was only 4 years old. She remembered her mother's coffin being carried into Forest Hill Cemetery on a horse-drawn wagon. Edith had 3 brothers who fought in World War I. One brother was buried in France at Flanders Field. She attended Hardy Junior High and graduated from Central High School in 1935. Her first job was as a hello girl for the phone company, earning $18 a week. Edith later worked for Chattanooga Bakery, where she hand-wrapped moon pies. Later, she worked as a secretary for Redford 5 and 10 for 19 years, retiring in 1974. She married the love of her life, Fred Mullins Sr., on March 15, 1936. I do believe that their 50th wedding anniversary was one of the happiest days of her life. Fred and Edith were married 54 years before his death in 1990. Together, they had 3 children: Ruby White, Dallas, Texas; Barbara Shipley, Harrison, Tennessee; and son Fred Mullins Jr., Sherwood, Arkansas. Edith was a resident of East Ridge for a total of 55 years and a lifelong resident of Hamilton County. During her widowed years, Edith traveled with her grandchildren to Florida, a cruise to the Caribbean, and multiple trips to Little Rock and Dallas to visit family. She loved those Skeeter Fest gatherings. She was always happiest when surrounded by her family. She also attended a reunion of all former Hardy Junior High graduates. Mom and I were there with her. Hardy Junior High is now a black school. The other attendees had just met Mawmaw, but quickly fell in love with her, and then they lined up to have their picture taken with her. She was like a celebrity that night. This reunion marked her 75th year reunion from junior high. A few years ago, she was able to tour Chattanooga Bakery to see just how much things had changed. The grandson of her former boss personally escorted her tour. Remember now, she had hand-wrapped moon pies when she worked there in the 1930s. Her last trip to Texas, she was photographed high atop a longhorn steer at the Fort Worth stockyards, surrounded by some of the same great-grandsons that will surround her today. Mawmaw had the most delightful sense of humor. On that last trip to Texas, Vernetta and I left the men in charge of Mawmaw while we went shopping. Big mistake. We returned to find that she had stumbled and fallen out the front door. Needless to say, Vernetta and I were not happy. Mawmaw just smiled and said, "You know I always fall for the men." And the men always fell for her. Her proud family also consists of 6 grandchildren, 13 great-grandchildren, 13 great-great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-great-granddaughter. And she has held and rocked us all as babies. You know, the Texas family had 5 generations for many years, starting with Sheena and Shay. Then, in 1999, Eunice's family made that mark in Tennessee with the birth of Zoe. In 2000, my own family added Andrew and Tommy, and we had bragging rights too. 5 generations. How many other families do you know that can make that claim? What a wonderful blessing that now some of those great-great-grandchildren will have vivid memories of their great-great-grandmother. But you know how things are always bigger and better in Texas. In 2006, they passed us all up when they added Emma to Mawmaw's Wall of Fame as the first of the 6th generation. Family was always very important to Mawmaw, and she was very important to her family. We called her our queen. Her love of family has been instilled in every generation she has touched. Nothing in this life is more important than family. Not money, cars, or houses. Nothing is as valuable as the love of your family. Mawmaw knew that better than any of us, and would often tell anyone she met what a wonderful family God had blessed her with. I remember when Michael and Michelle had just learned to drive. I had asked one of them to go by and pick up Mawmaw. No way, they said. I'm not going to drive with Mawmaw in the car. They knew she was the family jewel, and they didn't want to bear that responsibility. I had the privilege of being Mawmaw's hairdresser for the past 20 or so years. Every Saturday when she lived on Greenbrier, I would go by to spend a couple of hours with her and roll her hair so she would look pretty for church. Those Saturdays were sometimes like a mini history lesson as she would tell me stories. She talked about her brothers who served our country during World War I. World War I. She said after the war that one brother brought her back a real French poodle from France. She talked about her own grandfather and her dad. She could still remember and recite poems and nursery rhymes she had learned as a child. Mawmaw didn't really have any memories of her mother because she had died when she was only 4. I have often wondered how she became such a nurturing mother and grandmother without a real role model. I can't tell you how many pictures have been made of Mawmaw in her little hair rollers. We have pictures of several great-great-grandkids with a few rollers in their hair sitting next to her. They wanted in on the act, too. I even have a picture of her number 1 grandson with hair rollers in his hair. I may be able to sell some of those pictures. Speaking of Greenbrier, a young couple from Colorado and Louisiana moved in next door to Mawmaw in 1988. I think that very day they also moved into her heart. Dan and Francis became number 7 and 8 on the grandchildren list. What a mutual blessing they were to one another. Also from the Greenbrier days, Mawmaw maintained a special place in her heart for a kid from down the street that she watched grow up. His name is Billy Porter. She told tales of Billy and Fred walking to school and getting into all kinds of mischief. Now, almost 60 years later, Fred and Billy are still known to get into mischief. I also believe that they both became better men growing up with Mawmaw's influence. Just think of all that Mawmaw has seen in her 99 years. She lived through the Roaring '20s, survived the Great Depression, lived through 2 world wars, and watched the race to the moon. She never even learned to drive a car until she was 55. Fred Sr. and Barbara tried to teach her, but she preferred the teachers at the local driving school. She loved her 63 Thunderbird. She's gone from Hello Girls to party lines to cell phones, from Model Ts to airplanes to space shuttles, from listening to her soap operas on the radio to watching them on a black and white TV to watching them on a flat-screen color TV, from the telegraph to typewriters to computers and the Internet. She even got her own computer at age 88 and began sending emails. Her email address was ourmawmaw@aol.com. She really had seen it all. I remember always wanting Mawmaw to be there for all the big events. I remember praying to God that she would live to see Michael and Michelle graduate from high school. And she did. After all, she was only 82 when they graduated in 1993. Then I started praying that she would live to see Bliss graduate from high school. And then Michelle graduate from college. And she did. A few years later, I prayed that she would live to see Michelle get married, Michael get married, Michelle have a baby, Michael have a baby, Bliss graduate from college, Bliss get married, Michael graduate from college. There was a whole lot of praying going on because I wanted her to live and be a part of the next big event. And she did. I now realize that she will always be with me at all the big events, only now she will be there in my heart. A few years ago, after our family O party, I started thinking about what a wonderful double O party we could have. But with her failing health, I thought this might be one milestone, one big event that she wouldn't make. So on November 20th of this past year, with family and friends surrounding her, we celebrated 99. After all, 99 is indeed a reason to celebrate. God provided us with the most unusually pretty and warm day for late November. The sky was perfect blue and made a spectacular backdrop as we released 99 balloons to commemorate her 99 years. Our friend Dalton was there to entertain, and Brother Langston and his sweet wife were also there. It was a glorious day, one that we will all cherish. We must continue to celebrate this great lady. I have volumes of memories, and so do each of you. How blessed we have been. There is a brick in Coolidge Park that tells all of Chattanooga, Edith Mullins is the best Mawmaw ever, and forever she will be just that. There will always be little things that you will see, and they will remind you of our Mawmaw. Any angel figurine, anything with the praying hands on it, and of course those little packs of Kleenex. I know I will eternally be grateful to have shared so many wonderful events and so many great years with my Mawmaw. I can only hope that my grandchildren will one day love me the way that she has been loved. Cousin Sharon probably said it best. Mawmaw was an angel on earth that we all had the privilege to know. I say she was right. I also say Mawmaw was an angel who has now earned her wings. I would like to publicly thank my mother for the years of patient, loving care that she has given to Mawmaw. I think we all know without that care, we would not have had Mawmaw with us this long. Thank you, Mama, from the bottom of my heart. You are your mother's daughter. You will be rewarded in heaven one day for being such a beloved daughter. When Eunice and I were little, after a visit to Mama and Papa's house, we would always have Mama drive around the block so that they could come out on their back porch and wave to us. I will forever remember them both standing there waving goodbye. Now I am the one waving goodbye. Goodbye, sweet Mawmaw, until I see you again.